Hi, in this video, we'll talk about inheritance and in Java. We will look at the child and parent relationship, how to create such classes. So first we'll work with objects bird, dog, and a fish. So let's say our requirements are such that we need to keep data about the eyes, color, type, legs, and wings for the bird. For the dog, it will be eyes, color, type, and legs. And for fish, the properties will be eyes, color, type, and fins. We'll create these three classes, and we'll create all instance variables that we need and provide getters and setters for them. We'll create a driver class and instantiate all three classes in that class. Let's do that first. Java project, I'll call it inheritance 1. And in here I'll create a class driver with main method. Then I'll create a dog class dog, class fish, and another class bird. Okay, in bird we have variables all private, private string type, private integer eyes, as in number of eyes, private, let's take a look again at the slides. What do we need? Bird type, legs, wings, and color. Integer legs, private integer wings, and private string color. Okay, and I need to create getters and setters with source. I'll just generate them. Select all. When I select all, I get both getter and setter. Okay, so here are my getters and setters. Save this file. Then these three variables and these legs is the same for the dog. So move to the dog. Let's make sure I have all the variables. So yes, I do. I just need to create getters and setters. Select all, generate. And for the bird, I have, sorry, for the fish, I have the three instance variables are still the same, but the last one is fins. And let's create getters and setters. Select all, generate. Alright, so now that I have that, I'll go to the driver class and I'll instantiate each object. Dog equals new dog, and dog set color brown, dog set type dog, dog set not color, set eyes 2, dog set legs 4. Okay, I have that. And now I want to print to see what's inside the dog. I just set the values right now, but what is inside? Dog get color, dog get eyes, dog get legs, dog get type. Okay, and let's run it, see how it works. So I can see all the values that I created for the dog. Now let's do the same for bird. So I'll just copy these things from here. And instead of dog, I'll reference bird here. The bird color is blue, and it's a bird. And we also have set wings. Let's say 2 wings. Okay, then I'm going to print everything again, so I can see. Instead of dog, I'll print bird, 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 and bird. Let's run it again, so I can see. Now the color is different and this is different, but legs and eyes are the same. But what I also need is to print wings. Get wings. Okay, let's run again. All right, so I can see it's printing everything. Now that I have that, we can see that there is a repetition in the code. We have type eyes color in this class, type color eyes in this class, and type color and eyes in this class. So we can, let me go back to slides. We can see that there are variables or data that will be the same for all. They all have eyes, and we need to set how many, color and type, which is common for all 3 classes. But then they have some unique properties, like fins, only fish can have it, wings, only bird, and dog and the bird can have legs as well. So the duplication of the code can be moved to another class that will be shared. It will go to the superclass. So it will look something like that. We'll have the parent class that will have all the common properties, and the 3 children classes, they will have only unique properties, but they will also be able to access these properties as well for each of them. So let's see how this can be changed. Let me add to my code class animal. And I said what I want to do is remove all of this from here and put them in the animal class. So I removed it from the bird. I'll remove it from the dog. And I'll remove it from fish. So now none of these classes have these, but I still have methods. So let me remove the methods. So because I have only one instance variable here, I will have only one getter and one setter. For the dog, let me remove all this extra stuff that's giving me error because it doesn't know about those other variables right now. And I will have just legs as instance variable and getter and setter methods. In the bird, I'll also remove the getters and setters and keep only getters and setters for legs and wings. So you can see when we did this, our driver class has a problem now because these getters are not available to set the values. Setters and getters are not available for us. So, however, since we moved instance variables to the animal class, this is where we should create getters and setters. Let's do that. Generate getters and setters, select all, and generate. So now I have the getters and setters. I see the little marker there, star, that file is not saved. I save it, and the driver class still has problem, so nothing got fixed. Why is that? This is because our bird class and our animal class, they don't know that they have this relationship that we want them to have, parent and child. So if we want to let this class know that this is a child of animal, we have to write something. We have to write extends animal. So it's everything what animal class is, plus it has something specific. All right, save it. And let's do the same for the other two. Dog. And I think we only had dog object and bird object in our driver class. So as soon as we say extends animals in dog, our errors in the driver class go away. So now everything is visible. So even though in the dog class we don't have those variables, eyes, color, we don't have the getters and setters for them, they're all inside the animal class. But in the driver class, in the dog object, we can still have access to these methods, getters and setters, for the dog, because dog inherits those properties and those behaviors from the animal class. So this is the basic inheritance, how children classes can be connected to the parent classes. Let me fix also the fish because I haven't done that yet. All right. So now that we have that, let's look at the slides again and see what else we can cover here. So subclass is more specific than the superclass. So if we look at this subclass, we can see that this has wings and legs. So these are specific properties for the bird class. If we look at the dog, it has legs only, specific for the dog. If we look at the fish, fins are specific for the fish. So all specific properties and behaviors for that particular child class has to go inside the child class. So now let's practice with methods. So we only looked at how superclasses and subclasses share the same properties, and we actually had methods. The getters and setters that we created, those are methods. But let's create some other methods that are more specific for some behavior of the objects that we're creating. And especially that we can have some behavior specific for specific animal. For example, dog can run, bird can fly, and fish can swim. But all of these animals, they have same properties, eat and same behavior, eat and sleep. They all eat, they all sleep. Let's do that. Let's create in animal class, we'll create two methods, public void eat, and another method I will create is sleep. Eat and sleep. And all this method is going to do is just to print something to the user so we can see that it's being executed. Animal is eating. Animal is sleeping. Save. So we only put these two methods in the animal class. We did not put anything in the bird, dog, or fish. So in our driver class, I'll put another thing here, and I will just I'll call dog eat. You see how this method is visible from the dog? But you can also see, if I go back, that this method actually belongs to animal class. Eat. And then bird, eat, dog, sleep, bird, sleep. Okay, let's run it again. Let's see what we see. So animal is eating, animal is eating, animal is sleeping, animal is sleeping. So we can see the behavior that we have written in the animal class, but we can see that by calling objects dog and bird. And they belong to type bird and dog. So the only thing, it's not very clear from our message which animal is sleeping, which animal is eating. So we can modify our animal class here. Instead of animal, I'll remove that. I want to know the type. So we already have access to this variable here, type. So all we have to do is say type plus. Okay, and same thing here, type plus. So each object has its own value in those properties. Let's run it again. And you can see now dog is eating. That's this line of code that we executed. Then bird is eating. This is this line of code, 26. And then dog is sleeping. That's this line, 27. And the last one, bird is sleeping. It's line 28. So now we see that these properties work very well, even though nowhere in our code we're communicating with animal class. It's all done in the background because we extended from animal, we extended bird class from animal class. All right, let's add some specific behavior. So for bird, we said birds fly. So let's put here fly. Don't want any parameters here. I just want to print a line here. Sys out is flying. And I'll add the type here. So get type. So here I have to call method get, which is visible from this level, even though it's inside the animal class. So if I hover over this and hit Control and select one of these options, I click on Open Declaration, and I see get type belongs to animal class. All right, so this is where it's coming from, but I actually called it from my bird class. So bird class sees all the methods that are declared in the animal class as public. All right, let's go here. Let's go to the dog. And for dog, we had method run. Public void run. Is running. Okay, so here I'm trying to access property type, which I don't have it declared here, but it is declared in our animal class. You see right here. However, in animal class, this is a private property, so I cannot access it directly like this. When I click on the error that I'm getting, it's giving me some suggestions. First, it's saying the field animal.type is not visible. So I can either change visibility of type to protected. I will create another video for that. Replace type with getter. Change to get type. And actually that's what I need. I need the method call get type. Get type, just like we did in the bird class, and now the error goes away because this method is public, so I can see it at the dog class. And last one, I have fish. So public void swim is swimming. Get type. Okay, in my driver class, I'll update some code. So for dog, I want to call method run, and for bird, I want to call method fly. All right, let's run it again. So I can see this last two method calls right here. Dog is running, bird is flying. So everything is working fine right now. Let's move on. So here I'm actually using type because in this example I did not make them private. I did not make instance variables in animal class private, so I could access the variables just like that. But let's move on. Next thing that you really have to remember, that Java supports only single inheritance. That means you cannot have multiple inheritance. You cannot have bird, for example, inherit from animal class and also inherit from some other class. So that's impossible. Cannot do it in Java. We will discuss how. I will have another video where we will discuss how this can be worked around, how we can make it that it's kind of inheriting from different things. That's when we will study interfaces. Another concept that you need to remember when we talk about inheritance, that all objects in Java, they inherit from class object. So all our classes, they extend object class, either directly or indirectly. So if we look at our example here, animal class actually extending object class. We don't see any code written extends, anything like that. This is done implicitly, so not visible to the users, to the programmers. But that's what's happening in the background. That's how you get the default constructor. It's in the object class. Let's see. So what are direct superclass and indirect superclass? So if we talk about our three classes, bird, dog, and fish, direct superclass for them is animal, because it's right above them, one level above them. But anything two or more levels above the original class that we're discussing, that's called indirect superclass. So the object class will be indirect superclass. Object class has a method toString, and let's see what it's returning. If I add some code here, sys out, and I'll just print dog. I will not call any methods. I'm just referencing the object here itself, and run it. You will see something like that. You can see the package name where it's located. This is my package name, inheritance1. The class name is dog, and then there is some value here. So that's the default representation of this class. and it's coming from toString method from the object class. If I want to change that, I can. Let's go to animal class. I will override it at this level. And let me add toString method, generate toString. I want to see all of these values. So now when I run the code again, what will we see instead of this? We should see something like that. Okay, because we are changing that toString implementation in the object class, we're changing with another implementation. And this is called method overriding. So we're overriding the superclasses method with our own logic. Let's run the program again. Now you can see animal, type dog, eyes 2, color brown. Let me do the same for the bird. And I'll print bird now. And I will see animal, type bird, eyes 2, color blue. These are the values, as you can remember, these are the values we set for the bird. But it's using the same method from the animal class. All right, so this is a toString method from the object class and how you can use it. And another concept that we need to understand when we talk about inheritance is a relationship. This relationship is called is-a relationship. When we talk about is-a, that means inheritance. So here we can say bird is an animal, dog is an animal, fish is an animal. So that's how the hierarchy goes. You start from the bottom. Fish is what? Is an animal. Dog is what? Is an animal. So this relationship called is-a relationship. There is also a relationship called has-a relationship. Has-a relationship is composition. So in composition, let me open Paint. In composition, we have one class having instance of another class, or let me actually put it here. So let's create something called, I don't know, body. This is just example, not a very good one, but every animal has body and other parts of the animal. So let's say this animal has body, all of them have body. So I can go to animal because they all have body, and I can create another instance variable here, private body. So this is what's called composition, when one object will have another object inside. Animal has a body. Okay, so that's the difference between has-a and is-a relationship. All right. So here's the example. House is a building. Yes, that's right. But house has a bathroom. So that's slightly different relationship, right? So you will have bathroom inside the house. So some other examples of superclasses and subclasses is student. You can have graduate student, undergraduate student, employee, faculty, staff, and so on. Bank account or account, and you can have checking account, savings account, and so on. The relationship in inheritance can be described with different terminology. Some people say superclass and subclass. Some people say parent and child. Some people say it's a base and a derived class.